Hey, what is up everybody? Blades for here, and today for you guys another video of Persona 5X. That's today's video, guys. We're going to be going over the full-on Haru first impression here. I've used this character maybe once or twice, but it's mainly been for trials, or at least the trial version of her. And I didn't want to give my first impressions off on those because they're not fully built properly. So I went to build my own, and finally we have her fully built. Now, as many of you guys know, we got her weapon and everything like that, like early. We got her already early. But I didn't have her talents up till recently, and I'm still missing out on these technically, so I still got some ways to go. And actually I want to max this one out because this one's actually very much so important. But still got a ways to go when it does come down to this character. Now, we've gotten some god cards on her. There are a few that we need to change. For example, this crit damage card needs to be changed. I originally was using an EHR card, and we're going to be trying to actually show you guys the difference between each one, as well as the difference between her teams and what I would say is valued, what I say is not valued here. And I feel like you guys are going to be really interested in at least how everything does go. Some of my cards are pretty decent, some of them are pretty bad. This one was technically good, or at least is technically good, but the only issue is that's crit rate instead of crit damage. She does not need crit rate, she needs mainly crit damage for the most part. So my moon, or at least my sun one here and my moon one, got to be replaced because they don't got any crit damage on them. And then this one's good. The only issue I have with this one, it doesn't have a speed substat here, but I'm probably going to leave it alone just because she doesn't outspeed anyone on her team anyways. But all in all, y'all didn't come here for the build. Y'all came here for my first impression. When it comes down to the first impressions with this character, I want to say that I think she's going to be pretty darn good. I'm just going to give you guys just straight up the facts. I think she's going to be pretty darn good. He definitely has a lot of potential. And I feel like if you have the substats for her, she's really going to be good for you. So we're going to be testing her out on this. I was just about to actually freaking test her out myself, which is why this team is already set up here. But I noticed that I wasn't recording, so I was just speaking to air the entire time, which kind of sucked. But we're going to be utilizing this team. This team is her meta team. So if you guys do have her, of course, be sure to use the meta team like this. This is what you're going to be utilizing. Of course, if you have dupes on her astral weapon, this is what's going to help you really hit that 140 mark here, because the astral weapon, if I'm right, at the minimum gives 9 EHR. Moko gives, I think, 30 or 18% EHR, stuff like that. And it's a lot of things that are really getting calculated so she can hit that actual maximum EHR point. That is going to be a huge deal for a lot of you guys. If you have not, and I mean, if you have not actually taken that into account, you need to take it into account, because I think actually Moko, I think, gives like 58% EHR, which is really helpful. You definitely need to make sure you have this. So if you have this team, we're going to go ahead and give it a shot. Make sure the card that you're using is a crit damage one. And if you don't have the team, don't worry, I will be changing it up just so you guys can see the difference of both and things like that. And then we're going to actually run it with a 4-star weapon as well to show you it, or at least I'm going to explain the 4-star weapon. So how this character is going to go: if you are facing anything that is AoE, you need to make sure you are using the skill 1, skill 3, and if you already use the highlight, which most likely you will be using the highlight ahead of time since you have horde, you just need to immediately use the gun. So try to buff up our girl real quick, get her all buffed, make sure she's looking good for the most part. And you could, if you had a defense related, or at least a defense down character, which I unfortunately don't have Magaru on this one, or at least the one that does the AoE down here, which is kind of nasty for me. I need to actually get that replaced so we can get the chance of actually proccing that defense down. But we're gonna go ahead and use this for the crit rate up. Now, she technically doesn't need fully crit rate because she builds it herself, but she also gets crit damage, seeing that it was the main person that I was kind of focused on. And this is just off of her first little hit. So the first hit is going to be skill 1. Skill 1 is going to help you set up her sights, which is what we really want. And that's that little debuff right there, or at least that little symbol right there, which we did 144k, which is absolutely amazing. This is with the crit damage card. This is what you should be expecting. And 144k is actually pretty darn good, especially for A0R0. She still does a lot. Did they actually focus her for this video? I know she did not just get focused due to this video. That is wild. We only got to show. We only got to actually showcase the damage. We didn't even get to showcase the rest of it. They said, nah, sit down. We're not having that. Whatever. We're gonna go ahead and go back in here anyways, because we are a little bit pinched on time, especially when it comes down to it, to recording and everything like that. So we have a lot. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and redo this again. As I was saying before, we want to get her buffed up. She's gonna really need that. If anything, you could very well try to debuff the enemy on the first turn, and this time I'm not gonna actually give her the EHR, right? We're not gonna do that ahead of time. I want to actually kind of save this so you guys can see kind of the difference. So we're gonna buff her this way, right? We're gonna still use this buff, but we're gonna save the Moko buff for next turn. The reason why I'm doing this is because I don't want to accidentally do too much, and I want to see what the skill 2, at least skill 3 does, especially once we get everything set up. So first time, as I did say before, always use a skill 1. Boom, there you go. We still did 110 without actually what is it called, without actually trying. We didn't even try too hard with that one. We just managed to do 110k right then and there, and that's really good, actually, to say the least. Like, she didn't have her actual EHR buff, and that is absolutely amazing. The only issue is now they're actually packing her up like she's a package of just canned freaking meat. All right, so after editing some things on my god dang Haru just a little bit here, I don't know the amount of malice on this god dang freaking mob, but boy oh boy is it annoying. Like, first so much for the first impressions right now. Like, quite literally, first impression wise right now, I'm actually getting packed up. That's my impression at the moment, because they did not want me to do this video. But all in all, I still say right now she's doing pretty good. Just off the first skill, you guys already can see that she's dealing a ton of damage. But the main thing I want to show you guys is really the skill 3. Still, if we buff, we got 130k, or at least almost 130k, which is really nice. We didn't get any knockdowns, which is a little bit of a bummer, but I am kind of afraid because they will try to target her now, and that's what scares me, because these two here, they for no reason just like targeting Haru, but luckily they didn't smack her up this time, so we're pretty much gold. Had to change some things around for that, but all in all, it works out. So next round, of course, when you're using Haru, you want to make sure you are utilizing this. Of course, make sure the downs are happening, and seeing if you have cord, you're going to use this highlight a little bit early. The highlight itself does a ton of damage as well, so if you already have the sight set up, you're going to deal that monstrous type damage, right? We quite literally just mowed to 240 right then and there, easy. Was pretty much just not happening. Now for this round, we don't got to do anything, right? We're already good. We technically don't got to buff again, but I'm gonna do it again anyways, just to show you guys, hey, this character, no matter what, is buffed, so this is what you guys are gonna see. Now, since we already used our actual little highlight, we're not gonna use that again, because I don't want that to happen twice, right? We want to go ahead and just use the buff for our timing. So use the buff with Dionysus instead. And then I'm going to actually, I don't think we have a winded status on the one. So we're going to use a single target one to actually just show you guys the defense down a little bit. And if we use this here, she deals a whopping 257k. This is her A0 R0, and she is just dealing damage. So if you have this team is going to get you really far. It's really nice to actually see. It's really nice to actually get the hang of it, and it shows that with proper stats and proper actual things, it will make her an absolute monster. And that is something I'm really happy with, because she doesn't take crazy investment, at least that said team. She doesn't take a lot of investment, but boy oh boy is she still good. No matter what, you don't need any dupes or anything like that, nothing outrageous. Now with the secondary team of hers, the secondary team is also good, but the secondary team is now playing around a little bit more than how this one's playing, right? So we're gonna go ahead and use Ren, and we're gonna go ahead and pop in with Marion instead of actually using Marion in our other team. Not you, Mesa. Okay, I love you, but you gotta go away, my boy. You're not the one I'm talking to. And then we're gonna use Rico. This team here is going to really benefit off actually having that damage bonus. So we use the skill 3 with Rico. Make sure we get the debuffs off with at least our Ren. Ren, you kind of want to prefer if she's A3, which is why it's a little bit more valuable to use this team, or at least a little bit harder to use this team. And I'm gonna just slap her in here because we're not gonna play it anyways. But if you are really using this as a free-to-play type of deal, your personas even change. This was something that I was saying earlier in my other clips that I didn't notice, that I wasn't talking to anyone. Your personas kind of change. You still want the first two because those are still easy to get, but as for the third one here, instead of using Vishnu, because you really want to prioritize this one first, instead of using Vishnu, you would actually be using this dude right here, because he is actually very helpful for putting on that defense down, and that is what we want. So we're gonna go ahead and give it a shot. So with this, how we have it, right? We still have the 5-star weapon. Oh wait, I forgot to take off the crit damage card. So let's go ahead and take that off, because if you obviously are using this team, you don't have S-Moko, you need to use an EHR card. That there's no ifs, ands, or buts, guys. If you do not have S-Moko, you need to use the EHR card without a doubt. It kind of sucks because you are missing out on that crit damage that you really do need. So most of that crit damage you're gonna have to make up for in your sub stats, which is a little bit of a bummer, but at the same time it's still very helpful, because I'm not gonna lie, she still really performs really well. So go ahead and put on the EHR card here, and as you see, my rating didn't go down or anything, because it's still trying to optimize it to compare it to, like, depending on what you're actually doing, it's still optimized. So that's still really good optimized, and we don't have to really worry about it too much. I think this one was it again, yeah, 32. And so we're gonna use this team and we're gonna see how it does roll. So go ahead and get into it. Now hopefully they don't focus the Christ out of our Haru again, because I did edit some things on Haru, but I still am kind of afraid of Homie over there. But we do have Mumbo Soup, so what I'm gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna use the skill 3 first, make them have forgetfulness, so hopefully they don't attack us too hard. I think we only procced on 1, so that kind of sucks, but I'm gonna do the same thing. Buff again, make sure she gets that extra crit damage, and then for here I would technically advise you to do the skill 2 first, because then you would have the skill 3 ready. But of course, if you just want to have everything that you need just for her, it wouldn't really matter. You can just go ahead and use the skill 3 off rip, and which will help you out in general for at least the damage bonus. So first things first, use the actual skill 1. Boom, 114k. That's still really flipping good. Like, that is still really good. Surprisingly enough, even without like Summer Moko and stuff like that, you can still be pretty darn decent. You just gotta kind of watch out for it. But like, all in all, we're still looking good. So now that we've used the skill 1, we're gonna go ahead and focus on actually prioritizing the skill 3 into her highlight. So her highlight is going to be the 3rd thing that we use. So if we can just pop this off later, or at least if we can try to get it afterwards, that's really going to help us out. So to actually make our Haru look a little bit better as well, instead of actually doing anything that regarding what's it called, prolonging this battle, we're going to go ahead and just straight up use Ren's ultimate when it comes down to Haru's round here, or Haru's turn. So use the skill 1, get off that nice old defense shred right there, which is always lovely. We're gonna immediately pop off, I think we can actually go ahead and just use another defense down, and then use our skill 2, making sure we get as much damage as possible in. And then from here, we're just gonna pop off this so she can deal a little bit more damage off of Ren's ultimate, which is how you would technically be popping this off as well. And then you would need to set up for, of course, Haru's next highlight there. But use the skill 3 and let's see how much we deal. I don't know how much that was. I think it was like 160. Yeah, 167. So off bat, you guys can see the difference, right? There is a little bit of a difference inside of the damage, but you can definitely tell that this is still a really good character even with the budget team. So whether or not you're using each team, it's still really decent as well. So for first impressions, I gotta say, she's freaking immaculate. She's awesome. She's a crazy good character. Though mobs might want to bully her, so just keep that in mind, because she is dangerous to them. So of course she is going to get a little bit bullied. Just do understand that. But overall, I do like the character. She without a doubt is one of the few characters, like kind of like Makoto, like if you just have her, they're kind of like a one-man army or a one-man show. But the only difference with her is she's technically not a one-man show. She's kind of a 2-3-man show, because she needs that EHR. At least until she gets a dedicated supporter, she's gonna need a lot of EHR to make her work. But all in all, for first impressions, I gotta say she's great. I'm gonna try to refine her some more, so at the end of the patch we can do a final impressions about at least about Haru herself, and I'll let you guys know. Hopefully we can get a stream off sooner or later. I'm still trying to fix that, still trying to get some things up, but yeah, we got a lot to go over with this character and I'm really excited. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Did smash that like button. Peace out.